coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Now, Rummikub, just for those of you who are familiar with the card game Rummy, it is a very similar game, although I will talk briefly about some of the differences between Rummy and Rummikub, so that way you can make a more informed decision about which game you think might work better for you. So look at the report card for Rummikub. I'm going to give the number of players a B+. I give it a B+. It plays 2 to 4 players, and 4 players is my B zone. It's kind of where you want to be. 4 players I think is a good size of group for players, and the fact that it goes down to 2 is also nice. It gets the plus though because this game has the option to add another set to it, and then you can take it up to more players. So you're not limited by the number of players. So if you have multiple sets of the game, you can include them all into one gigantic game of Rummikub. For learning, I'm going to give the game a C. The game doesn't offer a lot of powerful learning in terms of memorizing math facts and learning things and trying things out. What it does is it's this kind of game that I played when I was younger. Now I played a lot of gin when I was a child, and with the family we'd play with the cards. And through that, then that kind of game where you're tallying up points at the end, looking at how much you need to score, and then you can do the subtraction. So that kind of addition subtraction that you're doing throughout, it's just a good way to introduce kids to games and have them playing these games. For one, the social aspect, and two, that little bit of arithmetic that they do practice throughout the game is a good way to just keep them activated into learning and practicing those facts in a fun way. Like I say, nothing big, but it helps. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B+. Like as I said, I played a lot of this. I played a lot of gin when I was a child, and I know people who played Rummikub, and it's a very popular game. And it's a popular game for a reason, because it's fun. So, nothing more to say, B+. For time, I'm going to give the game a B+ again. The game is a very quick game, and I think it's one that you can adjust the scores for, so if you want to have a quicker game or a longer game, like I said, the longer game if you're going to include more people, obviously, but for a quicker game, you can always just scale down the number of points, or just have it so at the end of the time that you want to play until, whoever has the most points at that time would be the winner. So I mean, it's sort of adjustable in that way. There's a lot of tiles to clean up and things, but that's not that bad. It's not like there's a huge setup to it. For cost, I'm going to give the game a C. I was looking up on different places. I found a wooden set at 401 Games for like $54. I imagine Level Up Games could get a game in for about the same cost. Walmart had it for like $42. I was actually, which is this version here, and I was actually a little bit surprised because for a game of just plastic tiles, $42 just seemed a little bit expensive to me. So that's why I'm giving it the C. I know there's a lot of tiles in there, and they're embossed and things, and it's durable, so it's not like playing cards where they can get lost or ripped easily. These are a little harder to destroy because they are made of tough plastic. But still, I just thought, it just seemed a little much, certainly for that kind of price. I'm thinking there's other games which you could be getting, which would be, in my opinion, a better value for your money if you're looking for educational games. All right, let me take it to the table, and I'll show you a little bit about how this one's played. So in setting up for the game of Rummikub, now I'm realizing too that I'm calling it Rummikub, but I think it might be pronounced RummyCube. I haven't actually looked at the pronunciation, but I know that I have heard it somewhere that maybe somebody had said it was RummyCube. So my apologies if I'm saying it incorrectly, but for now I'm just going to stick to my guns and say RummyCub because that's what I've been saying all along, and I'd feel silly trying to stop myself halfway through. So again, my apologies if I am saying it wrong, but if I do another video on this and I found differently, I will correct it for the future. So when you're setting up for Rummikub, then what you're going to do is you're going to take all the tiles out of the box, you're going to put them all face down on the board and shuffle them up. Then each player is going to take 14 of them, and they have these nifty little trays that you can put things in to help sort your pieces. So I'm putting them in like this. So to determine the first player, players are going to turn over a tile. So each tile has a space underneath it, so you know that this one is the 6 and not the 9. So if I turn over 6 and my opponent turn over 10, that means they'd be going first. Okay, and then you can shuffle those back up again. So after choosing all their tiles, every player is going to have in their little handy-dandy stand here a group of tiles with the numbers showing in different colors. Now it's important to note that under every number is a space
That way it indicates whether it is a 6 or a 9, because you may think that a 9 is a 6, but know that the space is above it now, so which is wrong, it should be underneath, so therefore that is the correct facing there. Now what you're looking to do with these is you're looking to make sets of numbers in different ways. So for example, I could put out 9s. Now to make a set you have to have 4 numbers in the set to start it. So I have 4 9s there, and that is legal because all the 9s are different colors, so that is acceptable. I could also perhaps do a straight, like a 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. So I can make a straight like that, and then that is also acceptable because now the straights have to be in the same color, whereas where they're all one number, they all have to be in different colors. Now, as the game progresses, and there's more and more sets on the table, you'll be able to do more things with them because you're always allowed to add on to the sets that are existing. So for example, my opponent may not be able to put out their own set right now. They can't make a straight of numbers, a consecutive string of numbers, nor can they have 4 numbers of the same kind in different colors. So they're limited in what they can do, and if at any point they can even play, then they forfeit their turn and they take 1 tile as penalty. If you cannot do anything on your own, then maybe something you could do is to add on to an existing sequence that's on the board. So for example, this person may be able to go add on to this. So keeping in with the same thing, they are now able to put down the 7 because it follows the thing. It follows the string of numbers plus it's the next number in it's the same color. 8. Now they also have a 10, and they'd like to put that down, but they don't have the 9. But what they can do is you get these little Teletubby sons here, and those are the jokers. So we're going to put that one down there. The joker can be wild for anything, so now that they were able to put down 3 tiles. Because the object of the game is to get rid of all your tiles first. Whoever gets rid of the tiles first is the winner of the round. The winner of the round can just be the winner and you're done, or the winner of the round can be the winner for that round, and then you add up the points of all the other players, the points being their leftover tiles, and that gets given to the winner. And then the victory condition can be like 200, 300 points, whatever you decide. One interesting thing to note too is that on my next turn, I could maybe say, okay, well you put that down there. I can then replace that 9 in there. I can take that for myself now, and now perhaps do something else with myself with it. So I can go 9, 10, put the joker down there now, 11, and 12. Okay, so, and that joker can bounce around between players as different players have different things available. But as you see, the point is just keep putting down as many tiles as you can, as quickly as you can. And at the end, so say at the end, say my opponent gets rid of all their tiles, then I'm left with these. So then I'm adding these up. So 12 is 24, plus 9 is 33, 42, 46, and 53. So I have 53 points left over. So that would be given to my opponent, and that is, they have 53 points for the round from me. If there are other opponents, then they will also add up their tiles and give that score to the winner of that round. And that is essentially how you play RummyCub.
Before I go into my final thoughts here, I want to sort of talk a little bit about the differences between Rummy, the card game, and RummyCub. Now, in Rummy, the card game, you know, it's, well, 1, it's a card game, and 2, this is a tile game. So right off there, that's the biggest difference between the 2 games. So you can see in the demonstration how Gin Rummy is very similar to RummyCub. Now, I'm not familiar with all the variations and differentiations between Gin Rummy. There's different, you know, house rules people play with those things, and different variations on it. I'm not familiar with all that. To me, Gin Rummy was Gin Rummy, or was it Gin, or was it, I don't know. It's what I played when I was a kid, but it was very similar to this. Now, in the differences between them, RummyCub is a tile game. Gin Rummy was a card game. There's your big difference right off the bat. Just in the way that they're scored, and some of the moves that you can do, but again, with the different variations, I'm not really sure what the thing is. But the other second biggest difference, so to me the biggest differences are, 1, the fact that this is a tile game, and 2, Gin Rummy has 52 cards. It's a 52 card deck. This one has 106 tiles. So it's more than twice the regular standard card size deck. So you're getting a lot more playing pieces in with this one. which is then leads to the different rules. So in Gin or Gin Rummy, you're going to play with different numbers of starting cards depending on the number of players you have. This one, you're always starting with 14 tiles. So differences are small. You can see how there's similarities, but there's also enough differences to see that they are different games. So let me take you to my final thoughts. If you have any questions about RummyCub, or you have any other suggestions for games you might like to see on the channel, or other ideas for things you might like me to talk about on the channel, please leave me a message in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel and would like to, like what you hear, like the idea of educational board games, using board games in your classroom, for your distance learning, for your learning at home, then please hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll be informed anytime I'm putting in a new video. And I'm going to be looking to do this now in a weekly format, making sure I'm putting new videos out every week, so that way you can stay well informed of what I'm putting out there, and helping you to make some decisions about gamification and game-based learning. And well, that's going to wrap it up then for this episode. Until next time, I'm Craig Thompson with the Board Game Teacher saying, thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me?